mission to rebuild. The last 3 years in Ogun State have witnessed unprecedented business and investment growth, led by a focused, determined, and purposeful leadership.
Without any intention to probably be modest, Ogun State, we are unique. We have that rich pedigree that we just must not drop the ball. And when you look at what those our founding fathers, what they did, our mothers, our fathers, it was selfless service that they gave to the good people of Ogun State. And so, when the opportunity presents itself, that came before us, and the answer is yes, let me try. And that is one thing that pushes me.
When you have a leader who has a vision, who has a mission, you must be able to buy into it. And if you are not passionate about your job, how do you give the right service?
You just have to be near him to catch the bug. You know, he encourages all of us to just try and see a bit of what he can see. And that works.
I see Ogun State as a promising, rapidly developing state with a huge potential for growth. Our strength lies in our people, our culture, our natural resources, our passion for excellence, and our commitment to our 5 cardinal programs as expressed in our mission to rebuild Ogun State. When we bring all of these elements together, we will create an economically viable, vibrant, and thriving successful state. That is the Ogun Standard. Welcome.
Thank you, please. A round of applause. That's a marvelous documentary. Wonderful. No wonder why I didn't want to start. So brilliant. And I think finally we've been told what Ogun State is.
Cultural capital of Nigeria.
This particular administration,
I thought it was over.
has been able to convince everybody about this mission to rebuild. It's done a lot of wonderful work for people to see. And of course, this now has become a cliche that even the blind can feel the vibrations of the machineries that are working. If you cannot see, you feel that there's work going on in your state. The mission to rebuild is on. And of course, it's a success story so far.
Money is very, very clever at seeking value. So when people are looking to invest, they look at certain parameters. If you look at all those boxes that we tick, Ogun State has them.
There's boundless opportunities, limitless opportunities in Ogun State.
We want to make a difference, and we're already making the difference.
For potential investors, look inward in Ogun State, you will get what you need.
So the question still remains, why not Ogun State?
In the last 2 years, we have been thinking about opportunities where we can diversify, where we will have a more conducive environment, state, regulations in Nigeria. And we came to the conclusion that Ogun State is the most suitable for us. I cannot but overstate the kindness of the people around us, the kindness and the support of the group, of the government group, from the SSG to the commissioners, to the directors of all parastatals, and of course all under the guidance of His Excellency Governor Omushun. The environment is fantastic.
Money has no sentiment. What is important is the investment opportunity, the conducive atmosphere that government will create so that the people in business will want to come there, like giving discounted rates for industrial projects, for commercial projects, and for agricultural projects. I believe that this type of encouragement is actually opening Ogun State for business.
Ogun State, where government has given a lot of facilities for the industries to come up to develop. We are getting all type of help from the Ogun State government. It is located basically in the center of Nigeria. So from here, we can cover total Nigeria, whether it is north or extreme north or northeast, or we are going to east and southwest. All areas we are covering from here.
I'm very, very proud, not only of the governor himself, but those commissioners. And I will continue to be proud because what they are laying the foundations on will be for the greatest value for the greater people of Ogun State.
Very soon, no good person will be without a job.
We welcome with open arms all investors who share our passion for growth and development.
I have a future because Ogun State is working.
We are open for business in Ogun State. Welcome to Ogun State.
Welcome to Ogun State.
You are welcome to Ogun State.
Welcome to Ogun State, the industrial hub of Nigeria, and indeed the 21st century emerging commercial capital of Nigeria, the investor's destination of choice. We are truly and always open for business.
Okay, I wanted to finally make sure that it had finished. I think so too. Great. Well, what a story. I really think we need to give ourselves and the people of Ogun State, especially the executive governor, a round of applause. I think so. Because I've been able to identify some true facts just by watching that. And by now I'm sure we're all aware of things we really didn't know before. Very important. Number one, Ogun State has the largest industrial base in Nigeria. Did you hear that? You know, no other state in the country has the size and the number of industries in Ogun State. That's a huge, massive. Two, Ogun State is the, well, they call it, internationally it's called a bedroom society, a bedroom community. So we are the ultimate bedroom community in Nigeria, that being a place where people live where they work elsewhere. That's what we do. We contribute to Lagos and all the other big cities. Sleep here because it's conducive to sleep here and work elsewhere. That's what Ogun State is. Number three, Ogun State has the highest number of fast-moving consumer goods companies in Nigeria. There is more. Number four, the Agbara Industrial Estate in Ogun State is in fact the largest single industrial estate in Nigeria that houses plants that are amongst the biggest in the world. One more. Cumulative cement production in Ogun State is amongst the largest in Africa by a state or its equivalent. So there you are. 5 more reasons to invest in Ogun. Oh, I forgot one more. One more important reason why you should invest in Ogun State. And there is a reason why Ogun State is on everyone's lips. There is a reason why the pace of development within Ogun State has rapidly increased over the past few years. There is a reason why there is peace, tranquility, financial stability, and all other great things right here in Ogun State. And there's a reason why we are all here today. You know, the man himself who initiated the idea of a state investors forum, the man who has redesigned the shape and fortunes of Ogun State for the better in such a short span of time. Please, ladies and gentlemen, join me heartily to welcome the convener of this event, the executive governor himself of Ogun State, His Excellency, Senator Ibikunle Amosun, FCA. Perhaps I should call him the magician.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. This is an international event and is about business. So you will please permit me. I know there are so many people here, particularly those that we have been invited from outside, and all our fathers, our royal fathers, everybody that is here. Please allow me to rest, as they say, on the established protocol that was done by the chairman of this Investors Forum. I am delighted to welcome you all to the second edition of the Ogun State Investors Forum, affirming the obvious truism that our state, Ogun State, is open for business. I'm aware, as evidenced by the pre-registration records, that many of our esteemed participants here seated were in attendance at the Maiden Forum in March 2012. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you back, and to our guests who are attending for the first time, may I assure you of a worthwhile engagement over the course of this event. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, 2 years ago, precisely on 26 March 2012, we held the first edition of the Ogun State Investors Forum. I must say that that forum is an eye-opener for us. Permit me to recall the conclusion of our deliberations at the last Investors Forum, as summarized in the communique that was issued there. Having all participated in the first edition of the Ogun State Investors Forum tagged Ogun State Open for Business, held in Abeokuta on the 26th and 27th March 2012, with a focus on showcasing opportunities and creating an enabling business environment in Ogun State, our government resolved to do the following: to enhance Ogun State's position as one of the fastest growing investment destinations in West Africa and indeed the continent of Africa, to improve available infrastructure while developing new ones, and encourage genuine investors to acquire land by offering them significant discounts at various levels, to aggressively promote agriculture, which has been identified as the pivot of our industrial plan, to effectively harness our rich mineral resources by encouraging existing and potential investors in this sector, and to take full advantage of our proximity to the largest market in Nigeria, Lagos State, and other southwest states, and our gateway status to the West African sub-region market, which is over 200 million people, to make greater efforts to ensure the safety of lives, property, and institutionalize a speedy, effective judicial system. We vigorously set out to implement these recommendations as contained in the communique of the first edition of the Investors Forum towards the fulfillment of our mission to rebuild Ogun State. In the area of education, for instance, we ensure that our youth have easy access to qualitative education, thus providing the needed manpower for our industrialization program. We also provided efficient healthcare service and agriculture that leads to industrialization and employment generation, housing and urban renewal, and we develop our infrastructure tremendously. And this is one area where we have etched the stamp of Ogun Standard, which we believe will be a reference point for infrastructural development in Nigeria and indeed even for service delivery. It must be of Ogun Standard. Under agriculture, we believe that the growth of any economy is largely dependent on its transportation infrastructure. The existence of good network of roads forms the bedrock on which accessibility and efficiency of other social amenities are built. Social amenities like schools, healthcare facilities cannot be effectively utilized if there are no good roads to access them. Interestingly, the longest road, which is about 110 kilometers, it is a road which links Ilara, Tombolo, Ijoun, Tata, Egua, Ojaodon, Ebute Gboro, Ilashe. This road links 4 of our 5 local government areas in the western part of our state and provide access to tens of thousands of hectares of most arable farmland in our state. We also adopted an agro-polythene development strategy, thus making our state the first in Nigeria to achieve this. This is a development paradigm that ensures that millions of our citizens are engaged in the agricultural value chain and are able to achieve prosperity where they are. The agro-polythene development strategy emphasizes the localization of primary production and manufacture. The goal is to enhance the income and welfare of the rural areas through the acceleration of integrated regional development. By this, we embark on rural and urban linkages that encourage development of agribusiness network. The objective is a populace-based, competitive, sustainable, and decentralized agro-polythene region. Today, we have created an enabling environment for investment to thrive and improve our investment climate, and thus make our state an investor's destination of choice. For instance, between the hosting of the first edition of the Ogun State Investors Forum and now, about 46 major industries with a total investment of about $7.3 billion have established businesses in the state, while over 30 others are in the various stages of completion. Indeed, you will agree with me that Ogun State is truly open for business. We have Lafarge Wapco Cement, Wemco Coal Steam, May and Baker, Shanghai Plants, Procter & Gamble, which is the largest single American investment in Nigeria. And outside the petroleum sector, we have the Dangote Cement. Indeed, the question is who is not in Ogun State? Almost everybody, particularly all of these conglomerates, multinationals, everybody, they want to be in Ogun State. So the question is, who is not in Ogun State? To maximize the potential of our agricultural value chain, we have targeted massive investment in infrastructural development and improve the quality of life of our citizens. Deliberately, we have begun an irreversible process of erecting modern facilities in our rural centers of agribusiness. We have also conducted the business of government and reformed the structures of our service delivery to ensure that Ogun State is not only open for business, but indeed friendly to business. The tremendous positive response of investors in choosing Ogun State and our unflinching desire to enhance the value proposition of Ogun State for designing investors have informed our choice of the theme for this forum and a direction for the immediate future. Let me say we are ambitious, we are determined, and we are forward-looking in our developmental programs and projects. We are focused on preparing our people and our state for the future. We see Ogun State as one of the states that will play a pivotal role in the future development of Nigeria and Africa by harnessing our natural potentials in agribusiness. Providence has been good to us. Ogun State is located on a land mass of about 16.4 square kilometers, of which over 80% is arable. Consider arable land that is larger than the total land mass of Israel as a nation, Croatia and Cape Verde added together. Our state is endowed with a favorable climate and good vegetation for all year-round cultivation of various cash and food crops, as well as livestock rearing. The climate is also conducive for business and industrial growth. In the southern part of Ogun State, for example, the evergreen forest vegetation and soil are most suitable for the cultivation of cash and fruit crops like oil palm, rice, kola nuts, cocoa, cotton, cassava, cocoyam, and vegetables. While in the north, we have a vast grazing savanna land that is very proper for animal husbandry. Added to these are forest reserves, rivers and lagoons with beautiful ocean fronts down south that is a ready contrivance for beach resorts. We also offer a ready market and a healthy local population of about 7 million. This local market is complemented by the advantage that our state provides as the window into the immediate market of southwestern Nigeria, comprising of Lagos, Oyo, Osun, Ekiti, Ondo, and possibly our sister state of Edo in the south-south zone of Nigeria. With a total population of about 40 million, and an added advantage of the gateway to the West African sub-region with an estimated population of about 200 million people, definitely we provide a ready market for your products. Let me add quickly that agriculture and industrialization provides a very fertile ground for our partnership and cooperation with the private sector for mutual benefits. It presents immense investment and business opportunities for international investors, individual and all organizations. We see agriculture as a credible means of creating huge employment opportunities for our teeming young graduates. Our vision for agriculture includes expansion into the agro-processing industry along the value chain. Presently, only about 20% of our farm produce is processed. The rest is sold as cash crops or left to rot due to insufficient processing capacity. This we need to change, and we must change. And indeed, we have started. Our approach in Ogun State is not only holistic but futuristic. Having realized that land is a key factor for meaningful agricultural development, our administration has allocated over 200,000 hectares of land to willing investors in agriculture at minimal cost. Also, in order to complement available acquired agricultural land belonging to government, the state government is taking steps through collaboration with host communities to make more agricultural land available for large-scale commercial farming. We have identified some particular sectors in agriculture as presenting viable business opportunities for investors. Some of these are palm oil, palm kernel and rubber cultivation, aquaculture and livestock. For example, palm oil and palm kernel oil are derived from the fruits of palm trees. Among the diverse usage of palm kernel oil are natural cooking oil, vegetable-based soap, cosmetic toilet soap, palm oil as feedstock for biodiesel production. In Ogun State, we have the Dura, the Piscifera, and the Tenera varieties. In fact, the Tenera is renowned to produce the highest oil content. Presently, we have 8 oil palm plantations located in 8 farm settlements in Adodo, Ajegunle, Agowoye, Koka, Ibiade, Ikene, Ilewo, and Shawonjo. Collectively, all the settlements have about 43,752 hectares of agricultural land available, while only 11,022 hectares is currently being utilized. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our state has natural rubber, para rubber, and the Hevia brasiliensis, which are used in the manufactures of a number of industrial products, including tires, footballs, and other items. Rubber plantations in Ogun State are located in Ibiade and Ikene. Collectively, both settlements have about 1,377 hectares of rubber plantation. In another but related dimension, catch fish remains the most consumed form of protein in Nigeria in terms of daily intake per person. Clarias is locally harvested from coastal waters and several aquaculture farms in Ogun State. Locations include Odeda, which is the largest fishery center with fish hatchery production equipment, as well as Ilaro and Ilewo Orile. As regards livestock, we are home to the biggest poultry farm in Nigeria. We have therefore identified poultry, piggery, and cattle rearing as good potential areas of investment. Presently, we have sites at Kotoko, Emure, Odeda, and Ijebubo. New sites can still be developed by interested partners. Ogun State is at the forefront of the regional push for agro-business development that will raise employment and alleviate poverty at all levels. We are focused on the development of both primary and secondary agricultural production in both public and private sectors. We believe that a business chain that traverses the primary production of raw materials to the manufacturing level, which ends with products on the shelf for the consumers, could be initiated and sustained. We are talking about a community which comprises the farmer as the primary producer, the manufacturer, and the market, all provided with basic amenities of the metropolises, but which is sustained by the agri-chain business system. In doing this, We will not only be replacing the aging farming population, empowering and strengthening our local farmers, increasing investments in public utilities and social welfare, we will also be developing a conducive climate for business and investment. And we will have institutionalized the development of the agri-business system. Under the urban development, our urban development and housing strategies are closely related to agricultural development plan. We understand that the development of our cities and towns is of critical importance to our economic growth. We also understand the importance of achieving this in a sustainable manner. Shelter is commonly accepted as man's most indispensable need next to food. These are the two interrelated areas where we are open for partnership and investment. Affordable housing and urban renewal are two sides of a coin, and they remain a focal point in our administration's 5 cardinal program. We also recognize the tremendous impact it can have towards the fulfillment of our agricultural investment strategy. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights recognized half a century ago that access to adequate housing is a component of the right to an adequate standard of living. We are committed to the right to housing for all individuals and households in Ogun State, and seek creative, participatory processes between the public and private sectors to achieve this. Let me state that our ultimate goal is to intervene in the housing delivery process and ensure that all our citizens own or have access to decent, safe, and affordable housing. Ogun State is recognized as having great potentials for investment in housing. Firstly, its proximity to Lagos provides the state with an opportunity to provide formal housing to a large population already squeezed out of the Lagos housing market. Today, Ogun State houses more than 50% of Lagos workforce. Secondly, our state is a leading industrial hub and home to the largest concentration of industries in Nigeria. This will continue to grow, creating the need for housing. Our objective is to ensure that people live and play where they work. That is in our dear state, Ogun. I am happy to inform you that within 3 years of our administration, we have made achievements in housing delivery. Some of these include the construction of a variety of 2, 3, and 4 bedroom housing units at the Plainfield Estate, where we deploy a building technology to aid speed of delivery and quality. The development of a 170-hectare site and services residential scheme at Kobakwe, Abeokuta. The creation of Metro City, a new town in Isheri on the outskirts of Lagos. The development of housing estate in Shagamu, Ijebu-Ode, and other locations. The construction of the first phase of a housing scheme for our civil and public servants under a home ownership program tagged Mission 1 in Ladere, Abeokuta, where 200 housing units are currently being built. The planning of 280 affordable homes and community facilities in Idiaba, Abeokuta, under a federal mortgage bank developer loan scheme. The development of a 750-hectare new Makun City and the construction of the first phase of Orange Valley, a gated residential community scheduled to be completed by the end of this year. These are some of our direct interventions. However, we seek to promote the role of the private sector in the housing delivery value chain. To this end, we are open to collaboration with the private sector in developing an appropriate construction sector, providing finance and ensuring long-term sustainability of our programs. At this point, it is necessary to intimate you that with significant investment in agriculture and the expansion of our industrial base, our state will continue to attract an influx of people who will need to be housed. We therefore encourage you, our investors, to take advantage of the opportunities we present. Besides, there are other areas such as environmental and waste management and urban landscaping, which require intervention and investment from the private sector. It is my sincere hope that this forum will generate maximum interest, raise questions, provide answers, and ultimately lead to creative collaboration and successful projects in our area of focus. agriculture, housing, and urban development. Let me also assure you that you will find us worthy partners. Many of the giant steps our state has taken are based on the recommendation and partnership that arose from our last Investors Forum. We still have a long way to go, and together we will walk into the new frontier of development. In concluding, let me borrow the words of an American author, Harrison W. Fox Jr., who said that effective collaboration between government and business is a sine qua non for dealing with problems in societies today. On this note, I call on all present and those watching us live on air to take advantage of what we offer and invest in Ogun State. I welcome you all to Ogun State, the industrial hub of Nigeria, the state with the largest number of industries in our nation, which in less than 3 years has received more than $7 billion in investment. We have been adjudged by the Business Day newspaper as the fastest growing economy in Nigeria and an emerging commercial capital of Nigeria. Welcome to the most secure state in Nigeria. I welcome you to Gateway State, the gateway to the busiest transportation route in Africa, the gateway to the West African sub-region, providing access to additional markets of over 200 million people. I welcome you to the state of many firsts, the home of the first chartered accountant, the first Nigerian judge of the Supreme Court, the first Nigerian Chief Justice, the first Nigerian professor of medicine. Indeed, maybe we should put here as well that I think Ogun State is the first to have a judge in the International World Court at The Hague. And he's right down seated here. Can we look, see him? Can you take a bow, sir? Principal Ajibola, I think this is one of the first that Ogun State did. We have the first Nigerian professor of medicine, the first female political activist in Nigeria, the pioneer permanent representative of Nigeria at the United Nations, the longest serving Nigerian president, and we are home to the Black Africans' first Nobel laureate. Welcome to the home of culture and tourism, home of the first Bible in Nigeria, and indeed the home of the first church in Nigeria. Welcome to Ogun State, the new frontier for economic and social development. Welcome to the state that is truly and always open for business. I don't know why this is not here. It should be written here. That we've said that we want to be what New Jersey is to New York. That's why we want to be to Lagos. Indeed, we want to be more than that. I've always said, and my brother is not here because they are busy somewhere in Ekiti. Because we've always said that we encircled Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria. And what we seek to do, we seek to feed Lagos, not only Lagos, every other state within the southwest here, and of course the assets that we have to the West African sub-region. We seek to house them too as well. We seek to move them. And when I tell them, how do we want to move them? Now they've started, of course, the rail. And we are following suit. We are linking all our major cities, indeed with the neighboring states, with our light rail system. So once again, let me welcome all of us. I welcome our keynote speaker, President Vicente Fox. I hope I got that right. Of course, we have the former Prime Minister of Slovenia with us as well. We have Mrs. Fox here. All our speakers, our panelists, and all the participants to this edition of the Ogun State Investors Forum. All our KPCs that are here. I also commend the organizers and all of those who have contributed to the success of this gathering. I want to thank you on behalf of the good people of Ogun State for the hard work job, for the good work that you did for us to have what I call a successful, because I'm sure this will be very successful and everybody will take one or two things away. And I pray and I know that when next we are meeting, we will be telling you that we have crossed just 1 trillion. That's what we want to push, and know that yes, we don't want to be talking billion. That is our focus. So once again, I thank all of you and for listening to me, and I thank you for being at this forum. God bless all of us.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. Please keep the applause going. Thank you. Thank you indeed. Wonderful. That just about sets the ball rolling for everybody else to be on their feet and to get the job done. The order has been given. The rest of us follow. Okay, just one or two quick announcements to make before we proceed. Our first plenary session takes place this afternoon, much later, a couple of hours from now. But this is just to inform all members of the panel, the panelists who will sit for the first plenary session. We want you all to just meet for a short meeting at 11:45 a.m. at the foyer just outside the hall. I'm talking about Ms. Marie-Francois Nelly of the World Bank, the country director for Nigeria, Mr. Shegmat Baje, MD of GT Bank, Chief Audu Ogbe, chairman of the Fugo Farms, Mr. Dikpo Onobanjo, estate surveyor and valuer, and of course, Honorable Commissioner for Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun. And perhaps also, as well as the moderator of that event, Dr. Doyin Salami, Senior Fellow, LBS, all to meet 11:45 a.m. at the foyer. Important things to be discussed, I am told. And also, if you have completed writing the forms, there's ushers going around collecting your forms, and you haven't completed your registration, please just pass those signed papers on to the ushers. They'll take them to the central office, and we do expect that the process will continue while you sit here and enjoy our discussions. And of course, by the time it's lunch, hopefully your pali will be ready. Okay? No pali, no admittance in the afternoon. We'll be explaining the meaning of that word sooner or later. Anyway, I think we are now fully ready to begin the show. And of course, to set the stage for our Investors Forum, we do always like to begin with a keynote address. Now, I should tell you, just don't forget, if you are in the audience and you have questions for the speaker while his address is ongoing, please endeavor to write them down, including your name, and simply hand them over to any of the ushers you see closest to you. These questions will be compiled and passed onwards to the keynote speaker to be addressed later in a Q&A, question and answer session. Okay? Don't forget. Keep note of that. But allow me to first introduce the man who will take charge of affairs for this segment. He is the chairman of Troika Holdings Limited, the Troika Group, of course, the holding company for media giants like Insight Communications, Azagai, Optimum Exposure, Media Perspective, Mediacom, the Quadrant Company, Halogen Security, amongst others. Now here is a refined gentleman for whom I have deep personal respect for. In my media career, I've learned many things from him. He once told us, and I quote him, quote, there are 4 essential elements for success. He said, professionalism, honor, integrity, passion. They come in any order, but if you have those 4 things, chances are that you are going to succeed. How can you fault a lesson like that? Ladies and gentlemen, to introduce our keynote speaker and conduct proceedings for the interactive session much later, please welcome Mr. Biodun Shobanjo.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My role is to moderate this session of the program. And we have a very, very interesting personality who will be talking to us this morning. It's important that I go through some few facts I have about this wonderful gentleman. Personally, I'm fascinated at many of the renowned sayings of Vicente Fox. Most of us will call him Vincent, but research tells me that, and I actually did ask him this morning, the correct pronunciation of his first name. It is Vicente Fox, former president of Mexico. This gentleman has quite a lot of interesting parts, one of which would include the kind of things that he says. And his sayings were actually recorded, and I'll just cite you 3 examples. Sample 1, he said, prohibition didn't work in the Garden of Eden. Adam ate the apple. Sample 2, instead of building walls, we should build bridges. And finally, always in every human action, there are leaders. This explains the mind of the great leader who we are privileged to have as guest speaker today, the President of Mexico between 2000 and 2006. Vicente Fox, former President of Mexico, is a charismatic reformer, credited with playing a vital role in Mexico's democratization and strengthening its economy. During his tenure, between 2000 and 2006, Fox succeeded in controlling poverty, inflation, interest rates, and in achieving the lowest unemployment rate in all of Latin America. He was born in Mexico City on July 2nd, 1942. While he was still a child, his family moved to the San Cristobal Ranch, which I understand was owned by his grandfather actually, in the state of Guanajuato, municipality of San Francisco de Región, where he would have the opportunity to live and play alongside the children of the local communal farmers, and in his own words, see for himself one of the avoidable ills of our country, poverty. Fox is a graduate of Ibero-Americana University, where he gained a bachelor's degree in business administration. He subsequently took a diploma course in senior management taught by professors of Harvard Business School. In 1964, he joined Coca-Cola de Mexico. Through diligence and excellent performance, he rose through the ranks and became the regional CEO of the company for Mexico and Latin America, the youngest person to hold such a position in the firm. In fact, I understand that when he got that job, he needed to relocate his office to Atlanta, and because he loved Mexico so much, he declined to take that job. With the experience he acquired, he decided to return to Guanajuato to become actively involved in state business, political, social, and educational spheres, and perhaps contribute to his overall improvement. He has served as an advisor to the Mexican-American Chamber of Commerce and as director of Grupo Fox, a group of companies engaged in the various branches of agriculture, livestock farming, agribusiness, and the production of cowboy boots for export. In the 1980s, he joined the National Action Party, and in 1988, he was elected federal representative for the 3rd District of the City of León, Guanajuato. While a member of Congress, his efforts were particularly focused on matters relating to agriculture and livestock industry. During this period, he wrote widely for diverse national and regional newspapers. In 1991, he ran for governor in the state of Guanajuato. In 1995, he contested again, this time in a special election, which he won by a significant majority. During his administration, the transparency he advocated meant he was fully accountable, both in terms of state finances and his own personal wealth. He succeeded in turning the state of Guanajuato into the fifth most important economy in Mexico. Having achieved such excellent results during his administration, he was chosen as the official nominee of the Alliance for Change, an alliance between his own PAN party and Mexico's Green Party, the PBM, in the country's presidential elections in the year 2000. His most positive legacies in terms of macroeconomic results were the reduction of inflation to a minimum, the virtually balanced budget, the strengthening of the currency, effective management of the country's foreign debt, and a historically low country risk ranking, with foreign reserves at an all-time high of approximately $73 billion. Thanks to the recognition it received from the World Bank, Inter-American Development Bank, and United Nations Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, the example set by opportunities, President Fox's strategy that enables social development programs to reach families in the country's most far-flung communities and regions on a scale never seen before, has been copied in over 30 countries. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Vicente Fox.
Morning, and let me start by thanking all of you for having invited my dear wife, Martha, and myself by the way. I love her very much. We are partners, and we work together to build up our dream. I want to thank the Senator, Governor, and his dear wife, most beautiful lady, elegant, and I see also that they work together, which is very important. Sometimes in this world, love among politicians is not clearly appreciated. Sometimes love and compassion to carry on our duties as professionals lacks that strategic ingredient. Passion to put ourselves in the shoes of others, of those who are poor, those who suffer, and those who need our support. That is why politics and government is maybe the most important activity that a human being can have, which is being for others, which is doing good things for others. And that's the deep meaning of compassion. Only those who know where they are going get there. Only those who build teams are successful. Only those who have purpose can do great performing. Purpose is a most important word. It is full of content. It is present in every human activity. So to have purpose together with knowing where you're going, it's indispensable to meet success and to perform efficiently. We all need a roadmap, either personally, we must have a life plan, or as a nation, state, or government. We must then have to set the path and start the journey. Being here just these few moments and these few hours in this great nation, Mark and I can perceive very clearly that Nigeria, that this state have purpose and know where you're going. This nation is promoting, together with the state, a new energy and dynamism to this great continent of Africa. I don't have any doubt that on the 21st century, Africa will not only be the so-called continent of the future, but it will be one of the powerful engines that is going to move the world economy. Leaders will be called mad. Many will say that sometimes leaders are crazy, that have crazy ideas. But leaders outstand from the rest because they go beyond what others believe or the limits of the rest. Leaders don't stop where the rest do. Leaders come with innovation, with vision to set the path. Leaders then do what others are afraid to do. And this is what I can perceive in this room, that you all are leaders, and that leaders have a very special and a strong power within that comes from information, knowledge, but most of it comes from conviction, from passion to accomplish great things. This is what is going to guide this continent to be that new engine of the world. The old engines of all times, the European Union, North America, seem to be tired, are not growing as they used to. Today, fortunately, there are new engines emerging with great dynamism. Yes, we have the Chinas, the Indians, the Brazils, the Mexicos, the Tigers of Asia. We have Colombia, Peru, Chile performing and doing great. But this has to be done, integrating ourselves with the rest. This has to be also uniting different economies, different nations to perform better. North America has brought to Mexico on that trade agreement great things. Just a few figures. The trading between United States and Mexico is about to reach $1 trillion US. We in Mexico import half of that. We in Mexico export half of that. So nobody today can develop on its own. Nobody today individually has the capacity to be able to grow sustainable. That association between Mexico and United States, where we used to have a difference in income of 10 times, when a citizen or a worker in Mexico would make $1, on the U.S. side, you would make 10. A 10-to-1 ratio. Today, it is a 5-to-1 ratio. So, this state, this nation, Nigeria, have to understand integration, the unity of all Africa. The African Union should be the dream and the idea to move energy, talents, resources on the right direction. But at the same time, it's indispensable. It is strategic. The effort of each one unit individually. And that's where in this competition, some come to be the benchmark. Some come to show the way to go. And this state of Ogun has that characteristic. I myself want to speak a little bit about some of these success stories that Mexico has had. It's not to lecture. It's only to show that there are alternatives to develop. And that fortunately, those of us, like it is the case of Latin America, or like it is the case of Africa, those who take products to the market to be part of the system. In Mexico, in my term, we developed what we call product systems. So you can open as many product systems as you want, but each one of them should contemplate putting together an advisory board for all the participants, those who produce the supplies for the farmer, who produce the grain, the seeds, who produce the fertilizers, who produce the insecticides, putting together those who do the farming or the cattle ranching, putting together those that buy wholesale, warehouse those products, putting together in that advisory board those who transport and take to the market after it is processed, putting in this board consumers so that they let us know what kind of products they want. This advisory board should session every month. One can be watermelons. One can be strawberries and berries in general. One can be sorghum, wheat, and grain. One can be mangoes or bananas or pineapples. So the whole chain has to be together with government defining public policies, defining strategies. A lot can be spoken about agriculture and cattle production. But let me now move a little bit into housing, urban development, infrastructure. Together with farming, which provides income or jobs to people in rural areas, the most important investment to create jobs and income that can be done is housing. And it is, of course, infrastructure. Each home that is built provides 5 jobs while it's being built. And each home that is built provides a shelter for a family to educate, to love the kids in the family. So it's a virtuous thing to do. Has spiritual values, but has economic values. In Mexico, we moved from, in 6 years, 250,000 homes built a year to 1 million homes built a year in just 6 years. To Haiti as a foundation, Martha and I, we do have a foundation. We dedicate our time to that foundation, which is a presidential library. It's a non-profit, non-partisan, non-religious institution that works with the poor, and we work on leadership. So we came to Haiti, and usually what you could do in rural areas to bring in activity, business activity, and to have occupation for people in rural areas is this so-called clusters, whereby in Haiti we propose that they put together, for instance, if it is an area that has tourism opportunities, so that you can bring in a tourism project through foreign investment or local investment for a hotel or for a tourism development on a beach or something. And then around that cluster, you build up the homes and you provide then to the people there not only the job through the investment of that tourism development project, but also you provide them the home that they are going to be able to pay because of the income they're going to get working for the tourism development. You can bring a packing plant of pineapple or bananas to process food in another community or another region and do the same thing. The anchor is the productive project. The homes and services that are around that, the school, the clinic, all together, government plus private sector providing both. And the virtuous circle is that you get a job, you have income, you buy a home, you pay for it, and then this becomes sustainable. So what they are doing in Haiti is putting different projects around small that change villages or change communities as a whole. Enough for that. Let me now come back to macro vision. I was talking with the governor the importance of having a project, having a roadmap, having a strategic development plan, which we usually do, or at least in my administration as a state governor and then as president did. to know where you're going. So usually it's putting together an academy with their wisdom and their knowledge, private sector and government, to work on that vision. You don't need more than 5, maybe 3 key strategic issues and sectors on which this state is going to be working. So first of all is to define which they are. Same thing in agriculture or rural areas. It must be defined, where are you going to cattle, where are you going to mangoes and pineapples, where are you going to sorghum, wheat, or else, where are you going to put together an irrigation district so that you have micro regions according to microclimates and according to market need. So all of this together, academy, private sector, producers, and government can put together. At the very end, like a pyramid, you have your way to go. There is only one way to change a nation in one generation. It is through education.
Spent the past 1 hour listening to one of the very successful presidents of Mexico, a man who was head of government from year 2000 to 2006. He has shared his experiences with us. They are wonderful experiences. You can see the man just went on reeling this thing from the top of his head. I want to thank you all for participating and look forward to seeing you at the next summit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We're going to quickly have a photography session. President Fox, Mr. Shobanjo, please. And please, could His Excellency, the Governor, join them? Let's quickly have a photo session for the press. And of course, we also have a few things to deliver. Is that getting ready? Also, I perhaps should inform you, we have a media hub somewhere behind the building, a media hub. And in it, there's a live studio. So interviews will be conducted live from that media hub. And of course, it's expected that President Fox and his host will be at that media hub interview session. So for all the media guys here, if you need to get involved, all the media guys should locate the media hub. It's behind the building. That session is taking place about now. Am I right? That session is taking place about now. And earlier on, we did ask that members of the panel for plenary session 1 should have met. We do hope that they have all been there or are still at that meeting. That's about to action right away after we complete the photography. And I'm talking, of course, about our panelists, Miss Marie-Francois Marie Nali, Mr. Shegun Agbaje, Chief Adu Ogbe, Mr. Dikpo Onabanjo, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, and of course our moderator, Dr. Doyin Salami. I expect that you should have met about now. Your session should start very shortly. If you sent in questions and your questions, because of the shortage of time, were not acknowledged, not to worry. We shall endeavor through technology, email, to get them to the speaker, and I do believe he will send you personal replies also by email. So don't fret much if you sent in a question and your question never got read due to the shortage of time. We will endeavor to send them to Senor Vicente Fox, and he will indulge you with a personal reply. Of that I am quite sure.